Hi everyone, it's Dawn, and yeah, it's time to do a recap for all you seasoned cruisers and some first-time cruisers out there. And today we're going to talk about some things that cruise lines, they don't necessarily want you to know. So that's coming up right after this. Number one is a lot of people look and they see that pool at the front of the ship, out in the nose of the ship on a lot of pictures, and they go, that looks amazing. I can't wait to get on a cruise ship and get into that pool right there and feel the waves. Yeah, you're not going to. Those pools are for staff members only. It's the private area. It's also located kind of in that direction because they can seal it off from the rest of the passengers. And the crew on the deck, like the captain's area, they can see down below and they can keep an eye on the cruise members to make sure that they're not doing things they don't want passengers to see. So yeah, you're not going to swim in that pool. Number two is weight gain. Yeah, they offer you food, they offer you drinks, they pamper you. And did you know the average person on a 7-day cruise gains between 7 to 10 pounds? Every single time, no matter how many times you cruise. Of course, it depends if you're one of those people that head off to the gym or do Zumba classes while you're on board. But yeah, chances are you're going to gain weight on your cruise no matter what you do. Number three, cruise ships have morgues on the ship. And not only that, they have jails as well. So if you've misbehaved or you've committed a crime and you're causing trouble, they can lock you up. And if heaven forbid something happens and somebody passes away on a cruise ship, there's a morgue down below. And chances are passengers will never know about it. It's all handled very quietly. Number four, speaking of handling things quietly, you will never hear over the radio or the announcement system, "Man overboard," ever. They don't want people to panic by hearing "fire" or "man overboard." They have codes for all those things out there. For instance, "man overboard," the most commonly used one is "Oscar, Oscar, Oscar." And so if you're aware of that, that's what's happening, but it doesn't sound as threatening as "man overboard" or "fire" or "there's a man with a gun" or "pirates." Yeah. So you won't hear "man overboard" when you're on a cruise ship. Number five, speaking of pirates, there are still pirates out there in the waters. In fact, 5 cruise ships in the last 6 years have been attacked by pirates. Only one of them was ever successful, and that's only because basically there was only a few crew members on this cruise ship. It was just transporting from one area to another. There were no passengers on board. The crew was unharmed, and basically the cruise ship got the ship back just paying a ransom to the pirates. And the area this is basically around Somalia and areas like that. It's becoming less frequent now because there's a big, huge naval presence in that area. But there are still pirates, even in 2018. Some secrets about cabins they don't tell you about because they want you to do this. And one of them is obstructed balconies. A lot of people want a balcony, not necessarily for the view, but to be able to open up the door and get some fresh air while you're on the cruise. So they say, hey, book me an obstructed balcony. It's cheaper than the balcony, and it's not that much more than the inside cabins. And quite often when you're booking an inside cabin, they'll offer you an obstructed balcony for just a little bit more money as well. Well, instead of booking an obstructed balcony, book a sail away balcony. They're the same price. You may end up getting put into an obstructed balcony, but you may just end up putting into a regular balcony. They'll only put you into the obstructed balcony if there's no more regular balconies left. So your chances of getting a better cabin at the same price as the obstructed balcony is just to book the sail away or the guaranteed balcony. But they'd love it when you book the obstructed balcony because they just have more cabins to offer to other people at cheaper rates other than you. A lot of you already know when you're looking, it depends on where you are in the ship, and usually they break down the ship, forward, aft, middle. Sometimes it's rear of the ship, middle aft, middle forward, forward. Well, take a look at your cabins, and because they go by categories depending on where you are on the ship. So if you see a cabin that's right on the border between being an aft balcony cabin or a mid cabin, and you look at the mid cabin, it can be priced $200 more than the cabin that's directly beside it. So why not book that cabin that's directly beside it? Is it really going to be that harmful to walk the extra 6 feet to the other door? I don't think so. And if I can save $200, I'm saving $200. Some things that can happen that are bad on a cruise ship, and the cruise ships know about it and they handle it very well, is the norovirus. Very bad stomach flu, and they isolate you in your cabin to keep it from spreading on the ship. And that's a big thing on ships. They're very aware of it and they really watch out for it. That's why you see hand sanitizers everywhere you go. Did you also know that the norovirus is more common in land destinations than they are on cruise ships? But everyone stigmatizes it as being a cruise ship virus, when in reality, you're more likely to catch it at a hospital than you are out on a cruise ship. But the cruise ships aren't going to tell you about norovirus breakouts if they don't have to. Another thing that happens that they don't want you to know about is people go missing on a cruise ship. Some of these can be overboard, where people have jumped overboard, fell overboard, gone on shore excursions and never got back to the ship and never heard from again, to somebody just disappearing on a ship altogether and no one knows what happened to them. In fact, in 2016, 47 people went missing on cruise ships and were never heard from again. And lastly, as I always say to people, the cruise lines aren't going to tell you this, but crew members actually have a little bit of leeway in things. So for instance, your waiters, that you're sitting in the theater and the waiters are coming around and you order a drink, be nice to those waiters, strike up conversations with them, and who knows, near the end of the cruise, they may bring you a free drink at no charge. They have that leeway to do that. It's called a guest perk. Now, it's completely different if they just offer a free drink and that's the last of it. It's a completely other thing if they're offering free drinks because they met you upstairs in the bar and they're fraternizing with you. That's a different thing, and they can be fired and escorted off the ship immediately for fraternizing with clientele. But if you're sitting in the theater and they just bring you a drink and they say, don't worry about it, it's free, and they walk away. That happens all the time. It happens to me quite a bit because they start recognizing me on the cruise ship, in the theater. I get the same drink every night and I strike up a conversation and we talk for a bit. So yeah, sometimes the crew can treat you to free things, so be nice to them. That's a good rule of thumb all the time. So there's 10 things that cruise lines either don't want you to know about or they don't like to talk about. Like, why book an obstructed balcony when a sail away balcony is the same price and you may get a better cabin? Or people die on cruise ships. It does happen. But it happens everywhere, right? So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, please hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.